Droners, welcome to this week's edition of Droner News. We have drones that have LED panels on them. We have NASA figuring out ways to do air traffic control for drones, and a dude that made his drone into a kind of a UFO. Wait, that's the same thing. Either way, let's get right into it. All right, coming in at number 1. Sweden completely bans camera drones. For real. They did it. It passed. And like they believe that all drones with cameras on them are now officially surveillance drones, and they don't believe that surveillance drones should be over their country. Obviously, opponents to this are saying that Sweden's going to get crushed when it comes to drone development and all that other kind of technology. They're not going to get no money from drone stuff. Apparently, they're not worried about it. They got enough money. But yeah, you can't fly drones in Sweden without special permission that you have to find and get, which apparently is very difficult. But on the flip side of it, it's like really, really difficult to enforce, because if somebody catches you flying a drone in Sweden, they have to not only catch you flying the drone, they have to prove that that was you flying the drone to a court of law. So it could be a really like, oh yeah, there's a law we're not supposed to fly, but you know, it wasn't me kind of thing. But either way, that's really happening in Sweden right now. So be aware where you guys are flying, because sometimes it's not okay. Coming in at number 2, Taser International. Yes, the place that is known for making the infamous stun gun that police officers love to use on us is making a drone. Well, I should say made a drone. As you can see, they have a drone that actually shoots taser darts to immobilize anybody that needs to be immobilized. I personally think this is a good thing. I'm saying that with every grain of salt I can imagine. Only thing I can imagine is like, you think about like how in Texas they sent that drone in and blew that guy up. Like, think if they could send in a drone instead and just taser him, you know, like that would be way better, to not have to kill people with drones instead of tasing them. So for me, this is a great thing if we're using it specifically with law enforcement only, and only to avoid using lethal force and also taking the danger of the cop away. So this seems like a middle ground that I'm really optimistic about, but at the same time, like if you know, if the wrong person gets it in their hands, and you could just be getting tased because your friend's a dick. Coming in at number 3, we have NASA developing air traffic control for drones. And, you know, obviously, you know, you could talk to people about drones, and a lot of people talk to me about drones and like, wow, I've never actually seen a drone flying before, or I've only seen one in my whole life. I'm not really worried about it. And yeah, well, drone stuff is still in its infancy, and you're going to start seeing a lot more drones in a lot more places as time goes on. There's going to be everywhere. And NASA is thinking forward with the University of Nevada, and they're planning a way to be able to manage the air traffic that is going to be drones in the future. So they're developing a whole system to be able to do that. It's still in its early stages, but you already know I like to put you guys up on. And this is what's going to be most likely happening and implemented, is that NASA is going to have a technology. I don't know who's going to be managing it or doing the regulatory of it. I don't know. But I do know that NASA is developing technology to be able to track all drones, whether they're registered, whether they're not, whether it is, they'll know who's in the air and be able to find ways to make it so that you don't run into each other, which obviously is going to cause trouble for everyone. So stay tuned. NASA's on it. I trust them. Coming in at number 4. This is just the coolest thing ever. So there's a YouTuber guy, his name is Retest Flight, who has a crazy setup with his drone. He put a 1,000 watt LED bar on his drone and then flew it over stuff at night. You're like, oh, okay, whatever. But you gotta imagine, like, these places are pitch black, and it's like, oh yeah, look at this. Here's a forest in the middle of fall that's pitch black, and now light moves through it as if the sun or some crazy light is going by it really slow. It looks absolutely crazy, because you can decide how to light everything, because you're literally lighting everything from the sky. It's something unlike I've ever actually seen before in a video, because no one's ever really done anything like this before, at least that I've seen. I think this is mesmerizing. I watched the video like 3 times. You should watch it too. It's super cool, and also super expensive. To be able to get the drone that he did it with, it's like $18,000. So unless you're like Bruce Wayne or Tony Stark, this ain't a toy you're gonna be playing with. But either way, really cool to watch the videos, so enjoy them like I did. Coming in at number 5, we have drones that are hunting other drones. A company called Airspace System designs a drone that is designed to hunt and capture other drones. The drone is actually called the Airspace, and it's autonomous. So it's not like somebody's flying around like, ha ha ha, I'm gonna get you. It's like, yo, this is our airspace. You're not allowed to have drones in this airspace. And our drone is trained to be able to take down any drones that ever fly within our airspace, capture them and bring them back. The funny thing is, they actually created this technology to be able to learn as it does it. So every time it captures a drone, it gets better at capturing drones. So it's kind of creepy to me. Once again, the RoboCop references scare me, just having things flying around and policing on their own autonomously. But it's pretty cool. There's no word when it's going to be available or how much it's going to be, but they look really, really scary to someone like me who likes to fly drones. So if you just happen to see a lurky black drone flying around with nets on it, you might just want to land because it will steal your shit. Droners, thanks for watching this episode of Droner News. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And if you did, there's more of it here because there's a lot of Droner Newses and they're awesome. Or you can click here to watch other drone related stuff like first person view, Instagram account stuff, because we do stuff like that too. And if you like what we're doing, make sure you hit subscribe because that's what allows us to keep doing it. Otherwise, make sure, as always, you stay fly.